From Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Welcome, everybody, here on this Tuesday. It's been such a long time coming since I've been up here. I almost forgot how to do it.
Stop.
Welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman here with Emily Gagnon.
What's up?
How you feeling?
I mean, I should be asking you this. I haven't seen you, and I think you told me before you left you were going to be gone 11 days. You had it down to the very. You didn't tell me 10. You said 11.
11 exactly.
So if we count, today's the 12th day. So you were gone 11 days.
Gone 11.
To Cleveland.
Went back home for a little bit.
The homeland. And how was that?
It was really fun. I got a chance to see my daughter graduate middle school. She's on her way to high school kids. I don't know if I like them too much. I mean, just real simple.
You like your daughter. It's just.
Of course, I love my daughter, but
yes.
you know how parents say you like it, you love your kid, but sometimes you wonder if you like them, just because with teenagers they're going to high school, they have a lot going on mentally. It's really a lot, I don't know that I'm prepared for this, so hopefully she is.
Yeah, good luck, because it gets worse. Because I remember being her age, and I'm sure I was not pleasant.
Yeah, it's just. They're just weird. I think that's what it is. They're just weird. I don't know why, but
especially girls.
Yeah, 1 second they're in a great mood. The next second they don't want to go to their graduation because their edges don't look right. It's a whole lot going on. It's just I don't know. Look, I don't know.
Well,
but
I'm glad she got through it.
Right, but all I know is for the last week there's been a whole lot in sports going on that I need to get to. So I told her, I said, look, folks in Cleveland, look, okay, I know y'all like me being here, but I got to get back. Because we had a whole lot to talk about, starting with Miss Caitlin Clark. This has been a crazy amount of buzz the entire week, ever since their last game, and she was obviously it was the foul heard round the world when Kennedy Carter from the Chicago Sky came up beside her after their game. The Fever won the game, but Kennedy Carter came up and gave her like one of those good nudges to the ground.
It was a solid one.
It was a solid one, but, kind of when you look at it, they were kind of going back and forth before. Carter got mad, knocked her to the ground. And so this started all different types of debates, just sort of national, about the treatment of Caitlin Clark, right? Maybe thinking that maybe a lot of the other girls in the league are maybe jealous of her and the attention that she's getting and the attention that they haven't gotten. There was just so many dynamics. I mean, sports shows across the country were erupting the last couple of days because of this topic. So I know you were watching, Emily, so I'll get your view first. I mean, do you think Caitlin is being targeted by other players and maybe unfairly targeted physically and stuff like that?
I'll put it this way. Let me ask you this. If that were any other player who got
knocked to the ground,
nudged, however you want to put it.
Nudged. She was like, boom.
Yeah. So if Carter had done that to any other player, would have it been a foul?
Would it have been a foul?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So, I feel like the discussion ends there for this particular case.
Yeah.
Because what she did was so blatant. They weren't even playing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Play had been stopped. So you can't just get up and just nudge, as you put it, somebody without a ref calling it. You know what I'm saying? And some people forget, and not that many people from outside of Atlanta might know this, but she was actually drafted to the Dream. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw she bounced around a little bit, and I saw the Dream.
Know
I didn't know she was drafted to the Dream. No.
Yeah, she was drafted to the Dream. I want to say she was the 4th overall pick, and this is my memory.
She was that high?
Oh my gosh! Please look this up.
Yeah.
I want to know if my memory's that good. 4th overall out of Texas A&M. I could be completely wrong here.
Let me see, Emily. Did you just look this up before you came on the show?
Nope. Lil Wayne rapped about
4th
her.
overall.
Lil Wayne rapped about her. Okay, and she was a baller. Did she come out of A&M?
She came out of Texas A&M.
Okay, I promise to the Lord you can go look at my search on my computer. I did not look this up.
All right, cool.
I was here. I was here when she was drafted here, and I remember her.
It was 2020.
And I also remember Lil Wayne rapping about her because she was that good.
Okay.
Do you see why she's not on the Dream anymore? This is all part of the discussion.
So it was only one season. I mean, she was on the Dream for one season here.
Yeah. And
looked like she has some confrontations with teammates.
Right. so.
Surprise.
So.
Yeah.
For anybody who does not know this about Kennedy Carter, she was drafted 4th overall by the Dream out of A&M.
Yeah, she was really good there too. Yeah.
She came to Atlanta, and we rarely talked to her. The media rarely talked to her. She didn't have the greatest reputation.
A little distant.
And I don't know her personally, so this is nothing against her. This is just what I've been a reporter here, so I'm just telling you like what happened.
Yeah.
We didn't speak to her very often. But I did love that she was so popular that Lil Wayne rapped about her. I thought that was so cool. I was like, this is awesome.
That's the bottom line here is Lil Wayne rapped about her.
Yeah, I was like, man, you've made it once a rapper's rapping about you.
For sure.
But he wouldn't have rapped about her if she wasn't good. But yeah,
that's true.
She didn't seem to bring teammates together. It was more of a like her against the world, again, what it seemed. And she was dismissed. She was dismissed after a year.
Her against the world. She stands on that business, doesn't she?
Well, so now, I don't know however many years later, because what year was that?
That was 2020. So that was the pandemic year. So that was 4 years ago.
So, I am not surprised. This is not like a huge stretch to the imagination for me that this incident happened between her and Caitlin Clark, and more on her than Caitlin Clark, because she just came out of nowhere and
well, I guess Caitlin Clark picked the right one that day, didn't she? Because Kennedy was standing on business, knocked her down. And look, but I think what this kind of created was like a greater issue over the treatment of Caitlin Clark, and are some of the people in the league, pretty much every other veteran player said, look, this is what rookies go through. They get knocked around because, the older, more veteran WNBA players aren't going to let rookies come over and take control. But for me, I got to admit, it seems a little more excessive for Caitlin Clark. And look, let's just be real, okay? The attention she got coming to the WNBA has been unprecedented. So we all get that. So I think that's part of it. I think a lot of the players are sort of resentful. I think they're grateful at the attention that Caitlin Clark has received, because look, I'm turning on ESPN today, I'm turning on First Take and all those shows, and they're leading with WNBA basketball. So I mean, that hasn't happened probably in my entire life, since the WNBA started. So that's a good thing. But the bad part is they were complaining about, everything it seems like surrounding around Caitlin Clark has been such negative talk, because it's been about, other players being jealous, this situation with Kennedy Clark. But what I'll say about that is, what my mom used to tell us when we were kids, she used to say, one of her most famous sayings was, be careful of what you wish for, because you just might get it. The WNBA wanted more attention. They wanted more eyes on the sport. They wanted everything that comes with that. Well, this is part of what comes with it, is more intense scrutiny, especially when you have a star like Caitlin Clark. So, yeah, I mean, this is all part of it, and look, for Caitlin too, this is all part of the deal for her, because she's being treated like a rookie. But like I said before, you do want to be a little bit careful, because you have to use your brain too and common sense and understand that she is the golden ticket to more things in the future.
Yeah. I mean, from what I also understand, and I did not look this up myself, but from what I also understand, after the game, Carter said she wasn't going to talk about what happened.
Yeah.
And then she went on social media and just started.
And talked about it.
Yeah. So also.
She said she wasn't going to talk about it. She didn't say she wasn't going to tweet about it.
So professionalism has to be a part of it too, right? I mean, I don't know. This is just my opinion. Like, your competitors out there, you and I have covered sports for years upon years upon years, every league there is. And at the end of the day, you might hate each other, and hate is a strong word there, on the court. But then when you're off the court, you're friends, you respect each other, all that stuff. Yeah. You don't go on social media and do whatever. So for me, I just thought it was weird that Kennedy Carter said, I'm not talking about it to the media. And of course, it made this huge, it made headlines everywhere. And then she went on social media and gave her piece on social media. So whatever. I think this is going to continue. I think if it involves Caitlin Clark, it's going to continue. All right. Yeah. So it just is what it is.
But this is what they wanted, right? They wanted more eyes and more ears and everything on the WNBA. Good. And that's really good, because they're getting filled up arenas. Well, at least in the games that Caitlin Clark played. We talked about that earlier too, right? So there's more people paying attention to women's basketball this year, which is a great thing. Yeah. But of course, the downside of that, the flip side of that, is going to be more scrutiny when things like this happen, right? So more about the WNBA. The Atlanta Dream, if you look at where they're at so far this year, not bad, right?
No. Was it 3-3 or 4-3?
Right now, 4-3.
4-3. Okay.
They're standing at 4-3 right now in the Eastern Conference. That's good enough for third in the Eastern Conference. Behind the Sun, Sun 8-0. Yeah. That's a good basketball team. And the Liberty are 7-2.
Yep. So, they just, got beat by the Sun.
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Everybody's getting beat by the Sun.
On Friday, the Dream beat the two-time WNBA champs
Yeah.
in the Aces from home.
Yeah.
They won by 4 points. Cool right there. That was good.
Right.
But yeah, so Thursday night they play at home. They face the Liberty, and like you just mentioned, 7-2, very very good. And yeah, we'll it's still very early, Scott, so we're still
It
kind
is.
of learning what this team's about.
Yep.
But I do like the fact that they've been able to beat teams like Dallas and like Las Vegas early on. I mean, those are good wins, and kind of build from there. But we'll see what they're made of and see if they can bounce back after, a loss. And it wasn't a good loss. Like, there's some losses that are good. Like, it wasn't a good
Sun
loss.
sting a little harder.
Yeah, so let's hear from the Dream today. They talked. We heard from the team ahead of their game on Thursday.
Let's go.
We're still building on with the addition of Tina and AP. We're still building the chemistry on the court, but I think we responded well. We had a big win against Vegas. Kind of had a slow start against Connecticut, but I think overall, we're responding well.
What did you take away from that game?
That we can be one of the top teams in the league if we do everything right, follow the game plan the way the coaches put it. So, yeah, we play well together and do what we're supposed to do. We can be a top team in the league.
What do you believe the scout is on New York as you guys get ready for Thursday?
We just got to come ready to play. They're a top team in the league, was in the finals last season. So, you just got to come ready to play.
How do you defend a player like Sabrina?
You just got to make shots tough for her. She's a shot maker. That's what she does. She scores the ball. So the best thing you can do is just try to make her shots difficult.
Sort of similar question there. Obviously, Connecticut being the best team in the league, New York right there behind them. Kind of similar question, but as far as defending that, does it give you confidence knowing that you played Connecticut fairly well as far as holding them defensively to play a team like New York?
Every team is different, so every team has a different game plan. Every team has different scores from different positions. With New York, you have scores 1 through 5, so you just got to approach it in different way. Because New York, you have JJ and Stewie that can both shoot the 3, so it's just like you just got to have a different approach to the game.
And there's been a lot of talk of the physicality of the W. Obviously, those who have covered it know it's always been a very physical league, but lately with all the attention that's come to it, do you think it's been different, more or less, or just kind of what it's always been?
Basketball is a physical game. You just gotta lock in and play. Have no specific comment on that. I kind of just stay out of it and just play my game, but basketball is a physical game.
Yeah, obviously it comes with experience. It comes with going through it, the hard times, the tough times. We had some really tough losses that really helped build some character and teach us some things. And we try to implement it in the next practice that we have ahead. And the wins that we have so far are great, but I think we're just focused on the next game. Every game is important to us to make sure that we try to conquer it.
Coach G has talked a lot about being disciplined and making sure to finish out. How do you feel like you guys have grown in that aspect to start the season?
I think it's a learning process. I think we're continuing to grow. It's going to be a day-by-day thing. And, as long as we stay bought into what she wants from us, I think the discipline will continue to come.
What's your scout on New York?
Defense. Defense. She just emphasizes that if we play defense the way we did against Vegas, we always give ourselves a great chance. Sometimes we're not always shooting the best, like Connecticut. So our defense can really help kind of counteract production.
How do you slow down players like Stewart or Sabrina?
Just having a game plan. Like our game plan against them is, it's important. So we have to make sure that we accomplish that, and that's the only way we can have a chance.
How would you describe the home atmosphere so far at Gateway?
Oh, it's great. The energy in Gateway is, unmatched. So that's always a plus.
How tough is it to go from Connecticut to New York being the top 2 teams in the league right now, going back to back like that?
It is tough. Obviously going from Vegas to Connecticut was a big bounce back, and then obviously going to New York next. It's going to be a good test for us, and also a good opportunity for us to just take the challenge.
Is there a standard from playing a team like Connecticut being as good as they are right now to play against a team like New York to be like, hey, this is what they did, how do you kind of take that, the pros and the cons to the next game?
Just, learn from it, watch film, get better, and study New York. Make sure that we're prepared for them, for their tendencies. They're completely different players, completely different roles. So just making sure that we embrace the hard, because it's not going to be easy.
And the schedule, mostly you guys have gone win-loss. You got a couple wins in a row, but is there an element to finding some consistency right now to kind of reel off a kind of some wins here, like in a row, rather than kind of having that flip-flop sort of thing going on.
Yeah, the goal is always to win. You know, there's going to be times where we lose, but like I was saying earlier, we have to take that as a lesson and grow from it and make sure we don't lose 2 in a row. That's the goal.
And there's been a lot of talk lately about the physicality of the W. Obviously, those who cover it know it's been a very physical league, but with all the attention that it's had lately, based on your experience, do you think it's been more this year, kind of what it's always been for folks maybe who just aren't familiar with how the W is?
Yeah, the league's been physical since I've been in the league, since 2015. If anything, it's gotten more physical, yes, but the physicality has been there. It's just about leveling up to that. It's not easy. The older you get, the stronger you get. You develop, you know, when you're young. When I was young, I was getting thrown around too. So it's just a part of the game. It's a part of just getting stronger and learning the physicality.
CP, you're pretty honest too. You'll
Always.
say it how it is. I'm curious, when you see the talk of the physicality, to you is it kind of like, come on, like you've been here, we know? Or do you like the attention of like, yeah, pay attention to us?
I mean, I'll take all the attention. I don't mind the attention at all. But like I said, yes, the physicality has been there. There's nothing special. It's just a matter of toughen up, suck it up, and keep it moving.
I'm curious too, with a couple games under your belt, what the team has stuck out to you as really having a different edge this season?
I would say AP. I really love the energy she brings. She's really just scratching the surface because she has so much more to give, and she's just so like anxious too that she's like jumping the gun. So I've been just talking to her and telling her like stay the course. And the same with, you know, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, telling them to keep the course as well. You know, yeah, she had a rough game last game, but just keeping her encouraged. It's so much more basketball to be played. So just staying encouraged and keeping that confidence.
When you see the league expand into a place like Toronto, they have an NBA team, but you see that expansion into a Canadian market, but also another expansion. What does that say about the league and where it's at?
It's super exciting, you know, to have a team coming to Toronto. The Valkyries, that's going to be a great addition as well. I think that it just shows the level of consistency of growth. It's going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to add teams, so it's really exciting.
What's the experience been like with the Chargers? Because I know that was a big deal when it broke.
Oh my God. It's so great. It's like, I literally almost cried. You know, I've been in the league, this is my 10th year, so I've been, you know, domestic everything. And when I say the difference is just unmatched, like we literally get right off the bus, on the plane, off the plane, on the bus. And that by itself is like, just takes so much load off your, you know, having to walk, having to hold your bags and do all that. So I'm super thankful. I honestly can't even believe it's real. I'm so happy.
Do you feel like physically there's a difference in the performance too? Like you're not as tired? Because traveling's difficult.
Yeah. It's 100% a difference. Absolutely. Yeah.
And kind of bouncing off that, how would you assess maybe the good and the bad of this season with all the attention that's come? I mean, obviously a lot of good things have happened too, but as a player, have you noticed anything like bad that you're just maybe people are just unfamiliar with, being like, hey, like, you know, we're used to this, but you guys aren't used to this, kind of that type of thing?
No, I haven't. Honestly, personally, I haven't seen anything bad to the extent that I would, you know, mention it. I feel like all the publicity is good, even the bad publicity, because at the end of the day, we're getting publicity.
Are you guys going to be able to get Tina on TikTok?
I doubt it.
Like,
She's very stubborn.
All right.
She's a stubborn old lady. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, them old folk, they be stubborn sometimes.
It was a little early there.
That's all right.
I'm sorry.
No, we're all good. We're all good.
WNBA.
As you were?
Yes, from WNBA to NFL.
Hey, got those OTAs wrapping up this week before they start minicamp. The Falcons out in Flowery Branch. Look, there's a lot of buzz and excitement, right? I mean, anytime Captain Kirk is in the house with the offense, now you have a quarterback. Now you have a legitimate quarterback with Michael Penix. The buzz is up. But they're winding those things down, and, you know, they'll be having mini camp next week. So still a lot of work out to do out in Flowery Branch with Captain Kirk and Raheem and the rest of those guys. As a matter of fact, it was Kirk Cousins doing some talking this week. It sounds like he's disappointed that OTAs are coming to a close. He sounds like he wants to work more.
He wants to keep going because he knows it's important.
Yeah. And he talks about the importance of these OTAs too, the importance of still getting that continuity with teammates. You know what? Enough from me. Let's hear from Captain Kirk himself.
Another good day of practice. It's just great to be out here and get the work and, you know, make reads, make throws, you know, call plays, make adjustments at the line of scrimmage, just working and making progress. And so, you know, we're running out of time a little bit. I feel like from the off-season program standpoint, you know, it's not going to be long before we're we're off for the summer break. So we've got to make the most of these last few practices and then make the most of our time away this summer. But things are trending in the right direction and feeling good. So I can take any questions you have.
Yeah, Kirk, Coach Morris was talking about laying the foundation and that process. You all were going through that and had a week break to kind of reflect. How do you feel that process and that foundation is coming along for you all at this juncture in the OTAs?
I feel very good about our progress over the last 9-10 weeks as a team together. We've covered a lot of football, a lot of install, and there's more to go. But just building continuity, building familiarity with teammates, with the scheme, with the coaches. That's what it's all been about, and we've definitely made those steps.
And he talked about your authenticity in your play calling and maybe adding a joke or something at the end. Could you give us an example of that?
I try to lead with presence, right? And have a little bit of force of personality. So when I step in the huddle, I try to make sure it's not just blah, that you're communicating well, that there's some presence there and you got some charisma. And so if it means a joke before or after, my humor tends to be pretty dry. So if you're not focused, you might not catch it. But I would guess most of my young teammates would tell you that it has a kind of a dad joke vibe to it. But I think they would tell you my humor lands with them. So yeah, try to have fun out here. OTAs has that feel because it is a little bit further removed from the season. You can kind of just be out here and enjoy, playing. You don't really have the looming game in a couple days. So that does lead us to, just having fun with the guys.
Obviously, the coaches out here, evaluating guys from a roster standpoint, building standpoint. But for you, how important is building chemistry?
Yeah, I think that's everything. I think it's okay. I like Kyle Pitts on this route. I think he does a good job with that break. Or I need to trust him more through this. It didn't look open to me, but he made it get open. And on a certain play that's new for me. Hey, I need to read it outside in. I thought I needed to read it inside out. And so, just building that time on task together as a team and with the scheme is what is so important. And I wish I could tell you we have 5 years together. We don't, and so we have to make up for that with every rep we do get.
You mentioned the distance between you and Bijan and your younger players. What to you is the way to bridge that generation gap?
I think we just be ourselves. I think I've always tried to be a question asker. So I think if I'm asking questions, I'm going to learn a lot about people, about my teammates, and so that's always kind of been my strategy. And it's great guys, and I don't feel too much of a gap because they are great guys, and we make it fun. Today, Taylor was talking about he talks about how the age thing. He kind of used September 11th, 2001 as like the how old were you when that happened, and Bijan wasn't born yet. And so that was a little bit of a wow. And Taylor, I said, how old are you, Taylor? He said, 4th grade. And Tyler Algier looked down. He said, 4th grade? Because Tyler was like 1. And I said, Tyler, I was in 7th grade, man. So, and honestly, it's a blessing. I hope someday that, the gap is even bigger because it means I'm still playing and still connecting. So, and hopefully it is a day someday where it is a dad gap, because it probably makes me a better parent to my boys if I have that. So, but we take it one day at a time, and I'm enjoying all the guys, young, old. I'm just enjoying the group.
We've been talking today about the monitors that they've used along the sideline. I imagine that you like that kind of thing. Have you seen that before, experienced it, and just kind of talk about how it's helped you?
They had it with the Rams. They brought it to Minnesota when Kevin O'Connell came from the Rams to Minnesota, so that was new for us in Minnesota. I'm sure that's going to kind of take over the league in time, but now Atlanta has it. And it took me a while in Minnesota to train my mind to realize I have that resource. I was so used to not having it. So I'd come off the play, say to the coach, hey, I think it was 3 hook, but I'm not sure. And he'd say, well, you got a video right over there you can see. So I've now trained myself for when the play ends, probably to a fault. I look over and a teammate may be asking something. I'll be like, hold on a second, I'm trying to watch this clip. So it's a great resource. I think what it does is just clears up some of the mystery. And then when the defense is having a period during the season, we can go over there and talk through something while we're waiting to get our reps. So it's just a way to be efficient with time.
Emily, you looking forward to the NBA Finals this year?
Can't wait. We talked about it earlier. I said at least there's somebody new in there.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that's the greatest part of this matchup. We have the Boston Celtics. Who are the favorites? Who are the slight? Well, I'm not gonna say slight favorites. They're definitely the favorites in the series.
They keep having a chip on their shoulder.
Right, and then you look at
they keep coming back.
Yeah, they really do, because this has been a
wrap it up. Let's do it.
Yeah, this has been a climb for the Celtics for some years now, and so on the other end, kind of an underdog is in the finals. The Dallas Mavericks, who are one of the more unlikely teams to make the finals from the Western Conference, but here they are with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. And
I love it.
Kyrie Irving has been spectacular in this playoffs next to Luka Doncic, so much so that his former running mate in Cleveland, LeBron James, has really taken notice on his podcast today with J.J. Redick, soon to be his next head coach, probably.
Yeah.
And
I wonder where that's coming from.
Right, so LeBron James says, I'm so mad that I'm not his running mate anymore. He's the most gifted player the NBA has ever seen. That's some tall praise coming from a guy who many feel is one of the best 2 or 3 players to ever play the game. So I covered those Cavalier teams with Kyrie Irving and LeBron. Also saw it fall apart when Kyrie Irving requested a trade. I was one of those people that at the time, and I posted about this today on social media, where I said that was one of the biggest fumbles in Cleveland sports history. And they've had a lot. I mean, Ernest Biner fumbled at the 2-yard line in the AFC Championship game before. So they've had a lot of fumbles. But I believe fumbling Kyrie Irving and letting him leave that organization for the kind of player that he would end up being. Now, I know he's had some stumbles along the way, but to let a player that gifted leave, look, I know what LeBron is talking about. He has a lot of regrets because he wished that would have worked out longer.
Yeah, I mean, but what do you do, right? You can't live in the past. But it's nice that he's giving him some cred. You know, he's giving him some love.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I wonder if he believes that Dallas is going to win.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm sticking from the beginning of this finals. I had the Boston Celtics, not the beginning of the finals. Since the beginning of the season, I had the Boston Celtics win the NBA championship. So I'm going to stick with that pick. But when you look at how Dallas has played the game, how Kyrie Irving and Luka, everything just seems to flow together so perfectly. I mean, you have Luka being his best self, Kyrie being his best self. I believe they work together better than Tatum and Brown do. And so I think that if Dallas wins this series, it wouldn't be a shock to me if their role players do what they're supposed to do. It wouldn't be surprising if Dallas wins this series. And if they do win this series, I think this will be one of the more improbable NBA championship runs in history, seeing as how if this team didn't even make the playoffs last season, and here they would be NBA champs. That's got to go down as one of the more improbable NBA championship runs in history if they make that happen.
I'd be so happy for Mark Cuban.
Man, they just always seem good,
Jason
though, don't they?
Kidd.
Right. I mean, Jason Kidd won one there. I mean, he was drafted by the Mavericks, left, had a tremendous Hall of Fame NBA career, came back there towards the end of his career, won an NBA championship with Dirk Nowitzki and those guys, that team that upset LeBron James and that Miami Heat team. And now, as the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, has an opportunity to win an NBA championship as the head coach. I mean, he's got to be on the short list of guys who are one of the most impactful players from start to finish for just one particular franchise ever, right? I mean, if a guy was a first-round pick for a franchise, went on to win a championship as a player, and now helps them win one as a coach, I mean, he's got to be one of the most important people in the history of that franchise. That's crazy.
No, and also let's let Al Horford retire. If Boston does win, I feel like Horford might finally say, okay.
But look, that'd be great for him to win a ring, too. Look, both of these teams, I think there's elements that you would feel good for. So if Boston wins, I'm not mad. If Dallas wins, I'm not mad.
Let's just get some good basketball, you know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's all I want. So before we get out of here, Emily, what's on your mind?
You know, the Dogs, they're hosting a super regional starting Saturday through Monday, best of 3. So if they can, basically sweep NC State, then there would only be 2 games or vice versa. But it's
Charlie Condon.
Whoever wins the series moves on to Omaha and gets to play in the College World Series. The last time the Dogs won a super regional, 2008, against NC State. So it's like the same scenario. Last time they were in the College World Series, also Omaha.
Well, we got to get out of here. That's been Sports Tonight for a Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.